All right, so there was another mass shooting today. And regardless of what Democrats say, we want to solve the problem as well. But we very much disagree on how to get to solving that problem. And a big part of why we disagree is we disagree on what the problem is. Conservatives definitely look at this as the gun is the symptom of a much greater problem. And I happen to agree with that. And to help articulate that point, I want you to look at this graph. This graph right here, it basically shows the timeline of mass shootings in the United States. Okay, this is very, now all of that time guns have been available. In fact, there was zero regulation for a very long time in the United States when it came to guns. This has got to be a cultural issue. How do we start to address the cultural issue? Because guess what? Guess what, Democrats? Guess what, Republicans? The Constitution is not going to change. All right, it's going to take a long time and a lot of work for us to get to the point where our Constitution is going to be changed to where there's going to be no guns like as a right in the United States. So scrap that one. So what are we going to do about it? Well, I think part of the problem is we begin to sensationalize gun violence. And like the news, when there's a mass shooting, it's like, bam, bam, this is the person, this is how it happened. Everyone's jumping to like, who did it? What was their motivation? All of this. Well, the problem is we are sensationalizing, we're glorifying in a way sort of this gun issue in the United States. There is an issue. There is an issue. But it's not a gun issue. It's a mental health issue. It's a cultural issue. And that issue is what we need to figure out how to solve if we are actually serious about wanting to stop gun violence in the United States. So a few things that I think we should do is this. A, when there's a gun shooting, don't mention the name of the shooter. Don't mention hardly anything about who the shooter is. Call them losers, because that's what they are. And the arguments on the left, they just don't make sense, right? So like, no gun zone, a no gun zone, really? What? When and how did that become a thing? It's the dumbest idea I've heard in my life, because the people who are going to come out and shoot massive groups of people aren't going to be like, oh, I can't do it here. There's a no gun zone. If you had the power, what would you do? What do you think would solve the issue of mass shootings in the United States?